Hey guys, for today's video, we're going to be trying out this baby right here. This is the new Patrick Ta Major Skin Hydra Luxe Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. This has honestly been one of my highly anticipated releases. We're going to do an all-day wear test today. We're really going to put this foundation to the test because she seems different. So without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, we have to talk about this bottle. This is giving luxe. I feel like the pictures online really do not do this justice because it is so sleek and beautiful and heavy. It is a glass bottle, but it feels very weighted in the hand. This is something you can like put on display. Like that's how beautiful and luxe that this looks. Now this foundation does retail for $58. $58 is pricey in hindsight. Patrick Ta is pretty pricey for his brand. I would consider him on the lower end of high end, but I will say I don't really see a lot of other brands giving us luxe packaging like this. And it's giving. Like, this is beautiful. This is probably one of the prettiest foundation bottles I've ever seen. Let me rephrase that. It's probably one of the prettiest foundation bottles that I own in my collection. So this is a lightweight and luminous foundation with serum-inspired ingredients and a buildable medium coverage formula that boosts hydration and blurs the look of imperfections. There's 3 forms of hyaluronic acid. There's plant-derived squalene and kombucha. Interesting. Okay, so there's some really interesting things there. One thing I am noticing that I don't see anywhere on the site is I don't really see like a wear time. So I don't really see any claims for a wear time. So that's interesting. This is also vegan and cruelty free. This is a luminous foundation and I have combo oily skin. So I definitely want to use a primer today because that's what I would normally do. I would not dare walk out without a primer on. I knew I wanted something that was going to mattify, but I also wanted something that hydrates at the same time. So my primer of choice today is the Milk Pore Eclipse Primer. I feel like this is a pretty hydrating, mattifying primer, if that makes sense. Also going to add a little color corrector. All right, so it says to shake well, apply foundation to moisturize skin with brush or sponge, building to desired coverage. I picked up the shade 23 Golden Neutral, and y'all, I could not decide if I wanted 21 or 23. Both were beautiful matches for me. I asked one of the Sephora employees, and she was like, this one's good for right now, the other one's good for winter. So I was like, okay, we'll just go with this one. So as you can see, it is thin and runny. So I'm going to just do one side. It is a very thin formula as I'm applying this. It's very thin. So I think on this side we'll use a brush. I'm just going to start by tapping this into the skin. And it does have a luminous finish to it. Wait, that is so pretty. That looks so pretty. Wow. The texture feels so interesting. It's so weird because when I was putting this on the skin, it almost feels like tacky in a way. It's so weird to describe it, but it's such a weird feeling, but not that looking like my skin. Yo, okay, let's push this back. That looks like my skin. What the heck? That looks so good. Wow. And it's luminous, but it's not feeling greasy. That's the one thing I'm always nervous about. Is it going to feel greasy on the skin? That's what always kind of sways me away from luminous foundations because I'm always trying to figure out, is it going to feel greasy on the skin? I feel like it just sunk into my skin so beautifully. Also do not feel it on my face. With this one layer, it's giving more lighter coverage. I wonder if I can build it up to be more medium. So I am gonna go in with another pump. I also like how this foundation applied with the brush. You know what, before I actually build it up to a second layer, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side with my sponge. I will say with a coverage like this, I know the sponge is definitely going to soak up more product, and I feel like, yeah, I already can tell, like I feel like the sponge soaks up a lot more product because this formula is already so thin. I can already tell I prefer the brush application because I feel like the brush just gives me the most coverage I can get out of the foundation. This I feel like definitely soaked up all of the product. Also, ignore this right here. It's not, I have a friend, actually 2, They're like sisters. I have two sisters on my face, so please ignore that. Here's one layer of the foundation applied on both sides of the face. This side we have a brush application, and this side we used a sponge application. Let me know which side you prefer with one layer. Let's build this up, shall we? Let's build this up. I think I'm just gonna use a brush all over the face now that I know that I prefer a brush application and it's gonna give me max coverage, but I really wanna build this up with a second layer. It's so weird because it feels tacky to the touch, but on the face, I feel like it definitely dries down, so you don't have to worry about it feeling tacky on the face. Let's do this second layer, this foundation, to build it up to be medium coverage. This is a very beautiful foundation. Very beautiful. I did try Patrick's first foundation that was in the compact, and I did not like that foundation at all. But this, oh, it seems like he took his time with this one. He took his time with this one. I also feel like this is such a perfect match for me. We have our two layers now, and I really love how this builds up on the second layer. This is definitely feeling more like an everyday foundation, which is what I kind of expected. It definitely does feel lightweight. I do not feel like I have anything on my skin. This product feels more like an elevated skin tint in a way that still gives you coverage, that still is gonna like cover up your blemishes. I think it is a beautiful second skin finish foundation. It does have that radiance to it. It does. It's nothing where I feel like, oh my god, I feel or look greasy. I definitely want to see how my other products perform on top of this. All right, so the makeup is all complete. My products went on top of this foundation so beautifully. I also pulled out this blush right here, She's Wanted. Do y'all remember when this went so viral? It is such a beautiful blush. I was like, today is the perfect day to pull it out and use it. I am absolutely loving how my makeup is looking. I think it looks beautiful. This foundation is gorgeous. To say that it is a luminous foundation, I was able to set it down. I just feel like I still have like this healthy glow to my skin. Now that all my makeup is on, I definitely can tell that it is a medium coverage foundation because I can still see my birthmark here. I also used the Hourglass concealer today. I was really unsure what concealer I wanted to use since the foundation is so skin-like, so I just pulled out Hourglass. I definitely need to play around with some other concealers in my collection to see what concealer I like best with this particular foundation, since a lot of my concealers are pretty full coverage. Let me know what you guys think so far about this initial application of the foundation. It is currently 12:42 p.m. I got a little bit of a late start because my Sephora did not have the display out and I had to wait for them to put all the stuff out, so I kind of got a little bit of a later start, but that is okay. I'm gonna go as long as possible. I am gonna also try to run a couple of errands. I don't really think I have anywhere to go, but we'll see. So far, I'm very impressed with how this looks. I think it looks absolutely beautiful, and my skin doesn't look cakey. It just looks really fresh, you know? I feel like my skin just looks very fresh. Very excited about it. Let's get this wear test started. It is currently 7:51. I want to get into my thoughts on this foundation because I am looking at my skin right now and I look unbelievably oily. Oilier in areas that I'm usually not oily in. I feel like I usually get the most oil in my T-zone, but because this foundation is luminous and glowy, I am feeling oily all over, and that's very rare for me. It's usually just my T-zone. One thing I will say that I am very surprised about with this foundation is that it did not separate on the skin, which is nice. After I finished filming earlier, I really was trying to find a wear claim on this foundation and I could not find one on the website, on Sephora's website, so I don't really know if there is any claims on how long this foundation wears, which is very interesting. I don't think I've ever really seen a foundation launch that didn't have a wear time claim, which is interesting. I did take a few notes though on this wear of this foundation. So I ate around 1:30 p.m. and I did notice after I ate some nachos, and I noticed that around my mouth it started to fade a little bit, which is pretty normal for me. I feel like a lot of foundations, especially after I eat, the mouth area is where it starts to fade a little bit for me and I start to lose some of that coverage that I initially had. By the 4 p.m. check-in, that's when I felt like I was starting to get oily in my T-zone. I really wasn't seeing the oils here on the cheeks. It was just mainly in this area here. I still felt like my makeup looked pretty good. Getting oily in my T-zone around the 4-hour mark is pretty normal for me. So there wasn't anything I was like, oh, interesting. When I started to get oily, that's when I was trying to see if the foundation was separating, and it really wasn't. I do feel like if I was to touch up my makeup right now, it would still look pretty okay. It wouldn't look the best, but I feel like it would, I can fix this. Like, this is fixable because it's not like there's like no separation. The skin still looks pretty good over here. It's just mainly here in the T-zone area where I'm feeling really glowy. Very, very glowy. For me, this is the kind of foundation where I would go in with these two products right here to help it wear a lot longer. One size oil sucker and the one size setting spray. This right here is like a true holy grail, especially when I want my makeup to last long because I have like that oily combo skin. If you have dry skin, you're going to love this foundation. Also, if you have combo oily skin, you might also love this foundation as well. I think this is a very beautiful, lightweight, everyday kind of foundation. It's not the most long wearing, but I feel like this is a foundation that you can really get away with every day. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more long wearing, it's gonna last through like sweating, the rain, all of that intense stuff, like concerts, parties, this is not a foundation I personally would reach for that, but it is very pretty and very skin-like. I would say in the way that you use your tinted moisturizers or your skin tints, that's the way that I would wear and use this foundation. I really am curious to know what you guys think about it though, because I look at my makeup right now and I'm like, my makeup has seen better days, but sometimes when I do wear tests, you guys sometimes think it wore pretty well. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. I am definitely going to continue to test this out. I really want to see how this foundation holds up with the oil sucker, because I know how good of a primer this is and how good it is at controlling those oils. I am not mad at it though. A little touch up 1-2 is all that I need. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know what you think and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye guys.